Hey guys, it's Ryan here with DP Marketing.Services and author on the book on digital marketing for plumbing and HVAC contractors. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you are doing good, and thanks for taking the time. Good to see you. Hey, coming at you with a video on when SEO is not a good idea. So there's obviously a lot of buzz and a lot of chatter on SEO, and SEO is one of the things that we do for plumbing and HVAC shops. But it's also not always the best fit for everybody. There's some management styles and personality types that it makes it kind of not quite suited for. So I just wanted to talk through a few of those. So the first, SEO is probably not a good option for you if you're addicted to like a pay-per-click or pay-per-lead sort of model, right? So if you've got it kind of ingrained in you that you have to pay money to get the leads and this sounds weird. We know guys like this who they feel like they have to pay-per-click and pay-per-click and pay-per-click. Like you're addicted to either AdWords or Google Local Services or Facebook leads or something where your addiction is it's not marketing unless I'm actively spending money and then tracking something at the end of the day. If that's important to you, if that's one of the things that's ingrained to you, SEO is probably not a good fit. SEO is just fundamentally a different strategy, right? So it's not quite as bottom of the funnel as like AdWords and Google Local Services and things like that are. So it's just a different mindset. So if you're addicted to paying for the leads you get, either through Angie's List or Home Advisor or Yelp or Google Local Services or whatever, SEO is probably going to be an awkward fit for you. Another thing is if you're looking for like really, really, really fast results, SEO is probably not a great fit. Google's time frame for SEO is that it takes between 4 and 12 months before you notice that work come back for you. So that means that you're spending month after month after month just working on building your SEO strength and your ability to compete in the organic search before you even see an attributable lead. It just takes time. There's no other way around kind of the long-term approach of SEO. The trade-off is, we'll talk about in a second, is that you swap time for volume. So we'll talk about that one right now. So first is if you're addicted to pay-per-click. The second is if you need something super fast. The third is if you just need a couple of leads a day or a week or whatever. If you just need a really short dribble of incoming leads to run, SEO is probably not for you. By all the research and all the stats, SEO accounts for about 60% of the click traffic and behavior on Google search. So 10% go to the ads, 30% go to the maps, 60% go to the rest of the organic section, with 33% going to position number 1. So if you just need 1 or 2 calls a day, SEO is probably not the solution for you. It takes you a long time to build up the authority and to get positioned well where you want to be. But once you're there, 60% of the people are going to choose a business on that page 1 of results. So if you just need 1 or 2 calls, SEO is probably not the right fit for you. It really is designed for kind of sustained, ongoing, maintained momentum and growth. And the last thing is if you need a really, really precise control on your cost of acquisition. If you need to know precisely this customer cost us X to be able to run, like you can with Google Local Services or AdWords or something like that, SEO is going to be really, it's going to be much more difficult to attribute because you have to do it as an aggregate, right? You won't be able to tie that person's name to that much you spent to create that lead as a singular event. You'd have to do volume over time. Completely doable, but it means that the numbers then are averaged. They're not like per instance. Like if you do PPC, you'll be able to know I paid this much per click, I got this percentage of conversion, and I got that 1 lead for it. Great. SEO is not quite as precise. So you'd be able to say, hey, we've invested X amount in SEO over the past X period of time, and we got X many leads for that. Therefore, our average cost per lead is Y, right? So that's how you would run the math. SEO isn't really designed at its core to be able to really tight and really precise cost attribution models. However, As an aggregate, right, if you look at the total you spend on SEO work versus the number of leads you get organic, over time, it is hands down the most efficient method as far as digital marketing goes, right? Referral, reputation, those will always be more efficient. That's just the nature of referral marketing. But when it comes to things like if you do PPC versus SEO, SEO at the end of the day will always be more efficient, especially once you've actually got the SEO dialed in. Early on, again, in that 4 to 12 month window, your efficiency is going to be kind of wonk. There's just no way around it, right? But month 12, month 24, month 36, you start finding that's where the efficiency really starts kicking in. And if you start thinking like, hey, I can't do SEO for 5 months, 6 months, 12 months or whatever, to wait to notice measurable results, like I hear you, but here's the honest truth. The really big competition in your market, they do, and they are happy to do that game and to win that game all day long. In fact, in most markets, we find that the big competitors have been doing like legitimate, true, focused SEO work for 3 or 4 or 5 years, at least. The companies who just want to dabble in it for 2 months or 6 months or whatever, they're really going to struggle with that longevity of having a 3-month, head start on SEO traction. So just want to throw this out there. SEO is an amazing tool. It is not the end all be all. It definitely is not for everybody. And especially if you mix it with other sorts of marketing, right? If you mix SEO with PPC versus reputation versus referral versus social, as an aggregate, it is an unbelievably powerful tool that has to be considered. But just know it's not exactly everyone's cup of tea, and that's okay. But would love to know what you think, because this is kind of the opposite of a salesy sort of video. But as always, guys, leave a comment below. Follow us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, and we'll see you next time. Stay safe.